Welcome to the family with
Andy Brandt Bernard.
Dave is not here today. He's off on some luxurious vacation. Josh is not in studio today. He will be calling in on the show, but
Ostensibly.
that's what we're thinking. I don't even know. It's his sister's birthday or something?
What did he say?
Something like that.
Yep, visiting. Oh wait, he's visiting his daughter, son-in-law, and grandson.
Oh, there you go.
He's visiting his family.
And where is he?
New York.
Oh, he's in New York. Okay. Oh, so he's going to be obnoxious as hell being on from New York. I can guarantee you that.
Yep. We'll have to struggle to hear him through the sirens.
It's all true. In the news this morning, we'll kind of take a gander at the big news stories. YouGov, 92% say Kamala complicit in cover up of Biden decline. 92%. And what audience are we talking there? This
YouGov, I think, is relatively neutral.
Oh, is it?
From what I understand.
92% say Kamala complicit in cover up of Biden decline. That's probably not very good news, though, is it?
She's the vice president. If there was a cover up, then she would be complicit in it. But I guess the question is, was there a cover up? Because, like, if there was obvious decline, cognitive decline, then she would have noticed it because she works with him every single day.
No question about it. Then, as far as Trump is concerned, this is a headline on Newsfront this morning. Trump discusses wiping Iran off the face of the earth. That's a little bold, don't you think?
Well, apparently he said that because he said basically if Iran tries to assassinate him, then they need to be wiped off the face of the earth, which I mean, I guess is a fair point. To just why does he think that they're going to try to assassinate him?
Yeah.
That's the question.
This didn't come unexpectedly, at least for me and my beliefs in any case. Prominent U.S. Christian universities condemn anti-Semitism. Andy, do you understand this whole look, you want to support Palestine, fine, but do you have to hate Jews to do it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think most people are, good guys and bad guys.
I guess.
They think life is a Marvel movie. You got the good guys, you got the bad guys. So, this side's good, therefore the other side must be bad.
Yeah, and I still just don't understand that. If we're good, you automatically have to be horribly bad to the point where we have to wipe you off the face of the earth, like the last story just said.
Yep.
Indiana Wesleyan University and Colorado Christian University issued statements condemning anti-Semitism on U.S. campuses and pledged to keep their Jewish students safe amid the dramatic rise in anti-Semitism after the Hamas October 7th attack on Israel that claimed the lives of at least 1,200 people. But once again, you're anti-Semitic because the Jews got attacked?
I doubt that's why.
That's not
that they framed that very strangely.
They really did put that in a very odd way. IWU, again, that's Indiana Wesleyan University President John S. Kalaga and CCU President Eric K. Hogue jointly signed a letter saying, "To our beloved Jewish brothers and sisters, we write to express our profound shock and indignation in response to the surge of hate and violence directed against Jewish and Israeli individuals on university campuses across the United States earlier this year." Yeah, I still don't understand. This is something I'll never understand. Okay, I support the Palestinians. Palestinians are good people, and that's who I support. And I hate every Jew because of it. Well, not every Jew's the same.
Like how Josh enters just as you're saying, I hate every Jew because of it.
Yes, I hate every Jew that calls in from New York. That's exactly.
There you go.
Did you see Indiana Wesleyan University and Colorado Christian University stepped up and said, enough with the anti-Semitism?
No, I think that's tremendous.
That's great news. Finally, Josh, do you understand what are people? Apparently, you don't know this, but all Jews are the same. I don't. What the hell is that?
All Jews are the same? Well, that's pretty good. I don't know that at all.
I don't either. On my entire life, I didn't realize that whatsoever.
Well, none eats shellfish, so you can't be trusted.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyone who doesn't like a nice crab.
Jews don't eat shellfish. I don't keep kosher.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
So
most Jews aren't kosher. I would argue. I wonder actually.
I mean, I eat some. You want to talk crab cakes? I'm happy to talk crab cakes. Which ones are better than the others, if you'd like.
About 1/6 of American Jews are kosher.
1/6. I'm surprised it's that many.
Yeah, for real. It seems very not very common these days.
The statement from Indiana Wesleyan University and Colorado Christian University: we want to make it clear to our nation and the world that our Christian institutions will not tolerate anti-Semitism. The university heads pledged, adding that the terrible events we all witnessed at the end of the 2023-24 academic year are already being forgotten. What we have all seen reveals a profound problem in the culture of many institutions, a problem which must be addressed. I'm really glad IWU and CCU stepped up. It's about time somebody did.
Well, it's certainly a lot better than the quote unquote elite universities, also known as the Ivy League.
Well, the Ivy League's the one who gets the most profit off of division.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
You know, why would they say something like that?
They certainly haven't said anything. The University of California at Los Angeles hasn't said anything. And then you did see, because it was, broadcast on numerous channels, the peaceful protest outside the Capitol the other day when Benjamin Netanyahu addressed Congress. You did see those peaceful protests and the pulling down of the American flag and the raising of the Palestinian flag.
Mm-hmm. And again, I don't understand, why do we have to tear the United States down to offer support to Palestine?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand.
Like I said, bad guys and good guys. If you're not the good guy, you're the bad guy.
I guess that's true.
And my solution is pretty simple. You don't like the United States, there are other places you can go.
Yep, there sure are. But
and instead of maybe we should. Here's the fun. Okay, there are an awful lot of people who come across the southern border, and those people, from my understanding, are given credit cards and housing.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, and why not take some of that same money and take those protesters that are at our elite universities and all those protesters that were outside the Capitol, just round them up and say, here's the credit card, here's your ticket, and it goes right to Gaza City. Now, my eldest son, when I brought this up, he said, well, there's no airport in Gaza City. Well, that's fine. There are other planes that can land out in the desert close to Gaza City. Just land the planes, dump these people off, and say, this is the place that you support and you'd like to be. Here you are.
Yeah.
Make a life.
That's pretty much true. It's pretty unbelievable. By the way, if you wouldn't mind moving on just a little bit off topic, not totally off topic, but a little bit off topic. Because of you, everywhere I go now, I got people quoting Kinky Friedman to me. Everywhere I go. Unbelievable. Hey, Tommy, Baruch atah Adonai, what's the matter with you, boy? We're great. Wonderful.
Oh,
that's your fault.
That is my fault. I've been talking up Kinky Friedman for the last several weeks.
Yep,
and of course, I just got a look from the SO. What is it with you and Kinky Friedman?
Catherine feels the same way. Believe me.
We've been together for 7 years, and I don't think she's ever heard me talk about the Kinkster.
Probably not. Catherine knew about him because way back in the day. Other points in my career, I played a little Kinky Friedman on the KQ morning show and all that stuff. I just thought, what I loved about it so much is not only is it very, very funny, but it took a pretty sizable set of testicles to go the route that he took. And I always admired that about Kinky Friedman. You don't like it? Then get the hell away from me.
That's right. I mean, some of the stuff that he wrote then is applicable applicable now with
Yes.
some of the things that are going on. If you just read some of the things that he wrote, I mean, you've got asshole from El Paso, and just read some of the lyrics from that. Andy, read some of the lyrics from asshole from El Paso.
Am I allowed to?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? It's your dad's show.
It's a podcast.
Yes.
You can say whatever you want.
That is true. Let's see here. We don't have no love-ins in El Paso. We don't go to porno picture shows. We don't swap our wives with our neighbors, and we keep our kids away from Mexico. And I'm proud to be an asshole from El Paso.
Keep going. It's got more than that.
It's gonna get pretty quickly. It's gonna get to a point where I should not keep going.
Can you just
Okay.
play him doing it?
Probably not a great idea.
Okay.
Did you get that vile?
I mean, I don't know about vile per se, but I'm pretty sure we would get struck with some sort of hate speech thing.
Oh,
Mhm.
well, never mind then. You're absolutely right for avoiding that.
Although it does say you walk down the street knee deep in tacos. So that sounds pretty nice.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, actually. That sounds good to me. I might have to have a taco later on today just because of that. What do you think of that?
I think that's good. Or here, how about this song? We refuse the right to provide service to you. I mean, the titles of these songs are great. You have to go and go through some of the lyrics.
You do. It's just one of those situations. I got, again, it's because of where I grew up, but I was exposed to Kinky Friedman very, very long time ago. Loved him immediately. Why did I love him? Because he was not an ass kisser. It was like, oh, I'm a Jew in Texas. I should be an ass. No, I'm not going to kiss anybody's ass. I'm going to shove it down your throat is what I'm going to do. I love that.
He certainly did. I mean, there it is. I mean, I got a kick when I first, saw the first album the first album that I saw, and here's the title, Kinky Friedman and the Texas Jew Boys. It's like, oh, I gotta play this.
I gotta listen.
I gotta listen to this. The name alone.
Yep.
The name alone says you gotta listen to this. You gotta laugh along and pay attention to the words. I mean, if you listen even to some of the lyrics from Bob Dylan, does anybody say anything nasty about Bob Dylan? If you listen to some of his words.
Well, if we're talking about his singing ability, yes.
Well,
yeah.
How about Joan Baez? Nobody gets down on her for some of her protest lyrics. Now, I'm not in hip hop or anything, but some of the lyrics there may not be fit for public consumption. Nobody says, "Oh, that's hate speech." Saying, "Are you serious? That's not hate speech." Some of the lyrics from hip hop certainly is.
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it?
You just reminded me of, the National Lampoon back in the day. Many, this had to be 50 years ago. You could look it up, Andy. They released a song supposedly by Joan Baez. It wasn't really Joan Baez, but a woman doing an impression of Joan Baez, who was a big folk hero.
I think I can guess which one you're talking about.
Which one are you talking about?
Talking about Pull the Tree Grows.
You got it.
Mm-hmm.
You ever hear that one, Josh?
No, I don't think so.
What did they call her, ladies and gentlemen? You're somebody, blah, 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 Joan Baez. The name of the song was Pull the Tree Grows.
Except it wasn't Tree Grows.
It says it wasn't Tree Grows. I'm only going to go through the first half of the line because I ain't saying the last half of the line. Pull the triggers.
What rhymes with triggers? And also tree grows.
A tree grows.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let's not be. I remember the first time I played it at my house, my mother came in and was like, "What the hell are you listening to in here now?" I said, "I didn't know, Mom." Oh my God, some of the stuff over the years. I loved National Lampoon Hour though, and it used to be on KQRS when it was a progressive station back long before I worked there. But that was the kind of stuff you would hear. It was unbelievable. So I have to ask you a question.
Okay.
With all the stuff that's going on now, we got Kamala Harris is going to be the nominee, it looks like.
Apparently.
And she hasn't chosen her running mate yet, so we don't know who that is. But
Gonna be someone horrible.
You think somebody horrible?
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, here you've been talking about anti-Semitism. You started that, right in on that.
Yes,
sure did.
Okay. There is, and I've heard this on numerous television channels. So from both Fox Business, CNN, MSNBC, that Kamala Harris cannot pick Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania because he's Jewish.
Oh my God! Really?
Nobody would vote for him, and it would upset large chunks of the Democratic Party, and particularly the progressives. Even though, Pennsylvania is a huge swing state.
Huge. Yep. Maybe the biggest.
And several people were just amazed. Larry Kudlow, who was discussing that the other day. This was on Fox Business. He was like, "I can't believe that in this day and age that would be an issue."
No, I can't.
And he went through some of the reasons that Josh Shapiro would be a good pick as a vice president. Now, he's a governor. He's a very good governor, well liked. He's got a pretty good track record in Pennsylvania. Plus, it's a swing state, and that would add. It would add a lot to Kamala Harris's credentials. Plus bring in more voters, both older voters, younger voters. Not to mention he's got, we'll say, administrative experiences being a governor. And the other issue, he's more to the center and more moderate than Kamala Harris, although she is considered to be conservative by California standards.
Oh my God! If she's conservative, we got problems. I will tell you that.
No, by California standards.
I understand. 100%.
Now, earlier this week on CNBC, Jumpin' Jim Cramer brought out that Kamala Harris would actually be very good for the stock market, and particularly technology, given she comes from California and she understands all of the technology going on, and that would be a big plus for the market. On top of that, she has called for the United States to lead in artificial intelligence and generative artificial intelligence. So that could be a plus, given that technology stocks have been the leaders in both up and down markets. And I do know that a few weeks ago, the market had been selling off. Actually, it's still selling off some of the technology companies, but the sell-off was due to what was considered the Trump trade. So sell technology and buy small capitalization companies and value-oriented companies such as banks. However, and I think I pointed this out earlier this week, that that Trump trade worked very briefly after Trump was elected, but during the course of Trump's presidency, the trade that worked the best was the old-fashioned, boring trade, buy technology. The technology stocks far outpaced small caps, value-oriented stocks, and financials. But that's just very very interesting take just from a market perspective. Now of course, BSO says that my only concern with people in politics is how they affect the market and how they deal with money. And I said, of course, that's my business. That's what we deal with all the time.
Right.
And I'm not going to say money solves a lot of issues, but money does solve a lot of issues. And businesses, represented by the stock market, do create jobs and create income. And I think that's one thing that does power the economy, and even allows the government to exist.
Yeah, that does make sense. I mean, I don't know. I just would like to get through this period. Everything's kind of falling apart, and then it's coming together. I have a question for you. One thing. It is the Democrats that are going after the Jews. It's not the Republicans. Correct?
Almost exclusively, yes.
Yes. I would have to say a certain wing of the Democratic Party is going after the Jews, even though I would say Jews, for the most part, have been very active in Democratic politics,
no doubt,
and have voted heavily for Democratic candidates.
Yep. Yeah, but what do you?
That's something that's like, are you serious? That's all I can say. Are you serious with that?
The reason I even bring that up is, so how are they going to deal with Kamala Harris being married to a Jew?
Which part of the Democratic Party are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about in order for her to win, she's going to have to, gather them all together, isn't she?
Well, I mean, I don't see the thing about the whole Jews bad thing coming from the left is that it seems to mostly be young people, and young people don't vote. So, I mean, how important is it really? Because I think it's like college students who have all the time in the world to sit on Twitter and scream about stuff that they don't know anything about. But I don't know if it actually matters in the long run, because these people, they're not going to vote anyway. And even if they do vote, they're going to vote for the Democrat regardless, because they can't bring themselves to vote for anything else. So I don't know. I say it's like any outrage of the month or cancel culture thing. Just ignore them, pretend they don't exist, and they'll go away.
Yeah. Do you see it that way, Josh? You think this will eventually just fade into the background again?
I'm not sure. I am not sure, because if I look at the number of people that are protesting, yes, there are a lot of, we'll say, high school kids, college kids, but they're led by, we'll say, they're, what do you call it, teaching assistants and professors.
Mm-hmm. Those people are going to vote Democrat anyway, too.
Right.
What Ivy League professor would ever vote for a Republican? I mean, the Democrat candidates could say, vote for me and I'll shoot you in the head, and they'll vote for him. Because they're just not capable of doing anything else. They're entirely ideologically captured. So, like I said, ignore them.
Well, ignoring, that's, I'm not going to say that's a large group, but ignoring that group that, now let's see, what states are they in? Maybe it doesn't matter because those states are going to vote Democratic anyway. I can't remember the last time a Republican won in California.
Right.
It was like the 80s, I think.
I mean, other than Ronald Reagan, and Arnold.
He was the last one.
Arnold.
Yeah.
And Arnold is debatable.
Okay.
But the other thing about the Ivy League is that it's pricing itself into the grave. So, it's a problem that'll solve itself pretty soon anyway. Because no one can afford, like, who is going to take out $300,000 in debt for a college degree? Basically no one.
Right.
Not me.
The only people who can go there at this point are the rich children of rich parents. And there's not that many of those. The Ivy League it's gotten to a point where people are realizing, I think, that so much of higher education is completely unnecessary and taking on hundreds of thousands of debt isn't worth it. And they're just dropping out. The enrollment numbers are down across the board, and they're going to keep going down until something very major happens.
Well, I do know at my small college, Franklin Marshall College in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is small liberal arts college, the cost of going there, is, I think, is about $75,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's full on at this point.
$300,000 for a 4-year degree. Get an 8-year degree, yeah, we're in real trouble.
And in all light, and I'm sure that things have changed, but when I was there, a third of the class went on to medical school, a third of the class went on to law school.
Yeah, so those people are starting off their careers with what, $500,000 in debt minimum?
Huge.
It's
huge
like,
amounts
how can you
of
recover
debt.
from that? It's just not really possible.
Very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And I've always asked, I'll say, what do they call them now? Development officers. When I think of somebody that's a development officer, I'm thinking of somebody that's building something, not somebody who is trying to raise money. But I discussed with the development officer, and this is several years ago, how can people afford to go to school?
Well, let's see. The average student loan is a 20-year term.
Mm-hmm.
$500,000, your monthly payment would be $3,500, almost $3,600
a month.
A month. This is for like a 20. Well, they'd be like what, 25, 26 years old. Starting an entry level position at a.
Well, you're starting an entry level position today. $3,500 a month. My math says it's $40,000. Mm-hmm. So $40,000 a year just to pay off your student loan monthly cost.
Yep. Okay.
Then if you're not living at home, which would, reduce your rent cost, the cost to rent an apartment today,
probably about the same, maybe a little less.
Well, that would be true in a major city.
Oh yeah, but Ivy League. If you're going to an Ivy League city, you're not going to live in some crap hole. You got to live in Manhattan, right?
Okay, now if you're living in Manhattan, yep, there's about $3,500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you're up to over $80,000 a year.
$85,000
just in student loans and rent.
And that's post-tax too. So in order to make that $85,000,
you have to make probably $120,000.
About $120,000 after you pay your taxes.
Good luck getting that as a medical resident or whatever the whatever the lawyer equivalent of a resident is.
Right.
Man, you got and you still can't eat.
Nope, no food, no clothing, no entertainment. Yeah, so like I said,
now all of a sudden you go with that, then I start thinking of a Billy Crystal joke.
Oh God, I love Billy Crystal.
We had no food. we ate wool coats for breakfast.
Oh God, he was funny. What, I miss him. How come he's not around a lot anymore? Let's go get him back.
I think he might be rather old.
Well, he might have gotten
Let's see.
Billy Crystal.
Hold on, Billy Crystal.
Actually, he's not that old.
Billy Crystal is our age, Tom.
Yes, he's 76. I thought he was.
Oh, he's a little old. He's older than we are then. Just
Yeah.
a little bit.
A tick or two. There you go.
Mhm.
He's a little older.
So Josh, with the and we got the Kamala presidency, we got the Donald Trump presidency. Both are possible at this point. How is the stock market handling all this?
This week, a lot of volatility.
Mhm.
A lot of volatility. We went from almost no volatility during the Republican convention, and almost no volatility in the market. Volatility measured by the VIX index, which tracks, we'll say, extreme option activity.
I love their Vapo.
Sure.
And
Yes,
we
sir.
went. I'm sorry.
I said I love their Vapo rub.
VIX. There you go. I like that stuff too. But the VIX index is gone from, just in the last 2 weeks, has gone from 12.5 to 18.5. That's a pretty big jump in the market, and you can see some of the swings that have happened, both on a daily basis and then interday.
How much of that do you think is because of people losing faith in technology after the CrowdStrike thing?
I think there's a little bit related to that, Andy. And CrowdStrike in particular has paid the price. I mean, their stock is down big time. I mean, even though they have everything 97% fixed, they said today, but CrowdStrike is down 17% this week alone.
Well, the fact that it happened in the first place is not. I mean, you can't just like wipe out half of the computers in the country and say "oopsie doopsie," you know.
Yeah, well, we were updating our stuff in Europe, and this happened. We got it up and running pretty quick, but
have they explained like what exactly caused it? I know it was an update, but have they?
No,
said,
they didn't go into anything. I'm sure that CrowdStrike, if the CEO hasn't already been before Congress, he'll be before Congress explaining this. Microsoft stock took a little hit over that as well. And if you're selling Microsoft, that's the number one stock on the NASDAQ index. It's number one stock by market capitalization on the S&P index. So as Microsoft is moving up and down, that's going to have an impact on the indices. So yes, there is that issue with technology. The other thing that happened this week happened to be with Google. Google's earnings came out, and while they did better than expected, their YouTube ad revenues were not as good as expected, and their guidance wasn't as strong. And then lastly, there's a big question. Well, Google, you're spending a lot of money on AI. What is your return on investment right now? So Google has been down on that. So that's led to some other questions about technology, and maybe we'll get some answers next week just on that alone, because we have Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and Apple all reporting between Tuesday and Thursday night. Apple really stood apart from the issues related to CrowdStrike when CrowdStrike blew up last week at this time. when that dreaded blue stream came up last week and just about ground every plane in the United States, unless I think Southwest was still operating without any issues. Delta had issues up until yesterday, and I think Delta is now back up and running. But yeah, there's some big issues related to technology. But I still think that's still the place to invest.
I mean, is this because there's so many more people that fly now? So many more people travel. I mean, is it
travel's still big, but
yeah,
everybody around the world is dependent on computers.
Yeah, it was Windows specifically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So any business that had a Windows computer or was using Windows computers was susceptible to this.
God,
we didn't get affected.
No, we didn't. That's true.
We're using Apple?
Nope. We are using Windows. However, we are using a version of Windows that has not been activated in about 10 years.
Wow.
Yep. I got that watermark on my screen telling me to go to settings to activate Windows, and it's been there for a decade.
Wow.
Going to.
Not going to happen.
Well, so I bought this computer, and it was a legitimate copy of Windows and everything. And then I swapped out some hardware components, which caused Windows to freak out and deactivate. And what you're supposed to do is go in and put in your activation code. But because I had upgraded from Windows 8 to Windows 10, the activation code didn't work anymore. So I would have to re-buy Windows just to get rid of this watermark. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. So basically, we were saved by the fact that I don't care about this watermark. Maybe.
We're saved by it, yes.
I mean, we have a laptop over there that wasn't affected, and I'm pretty sure that's up to date at all times. And this computer over to the left of me is another Windows computer that wasn't affected. So I don't know if they actually know what made certain computers get affected.
I think it could have been with those companies that were using CrowdStrike.
Well, but apparently this CrowdStrike Falcon is the module that was causing the problems. And apparently every copy of Windows ships with CrowdStrike Falcon in it. And when you boot up, basically what it does is it checks certain files or certain memory addresses for what it thinks is malware.
Okay.
And if it finds malware, then it can intercede before the operating system actually fully boots up. Because if the operating system hasn't booted up, then your files are most likely safe. But what was happening is it was turning on, and then there was like a little error in it that caused it to crash. And because it crashed before Windows even started, that just made the computer completely unusable.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. I think that's what I said yesterday or the day before or something like that. Everything is dependent on everything else. So if one link in the chain breaks, then everything just collapses. Look at what happened when Taiwan started putting out a few less chips. Yeah, we couldn't get a new car for like 3 years.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the chips.
The chip shortage. Because like every chip in the world comes from a handful of factories over in Taiwan. And we don't make our own, and everything is just in time, so we don't store them up for if something bad happens. And there you go. One link breaks and global catastrophe.
Oh, that was during COVID.
Yes, it was. Just before.
That's when everything shut down.
Honest to God. Oh, I just saw something popped up on my screen here. Who turned 81 years old today?
Joe Biden?
Nope. Very famous person. It's their birthday today, turned 81 years old.
Joe Biden.
Not Joe Biden. You ready?
I don't have anything else to go on except he's famous.
Okay,
at
why don't we
81.
do this? Okay,
And I'm pretty sure Joe Biden is in fact 81.
okay, this person is very famous worldwide, and his initials are MJ.
Michael Jackson.
Nope, not Michael Jackson. He's dead.
Oh,
And
Michael
I'm pretty
Jackson's
sure he
not
wouldn't have
even
been
close to
81
81.
anyway.
And he shouldn't. He would not have been 81 anyway.
When was Michael Jackson born? Let's see. Michael Jackson was born in 58. So yeah, he's got a way
He's
to
not
go.
81.
Not 81 years old. So MJ, 81. Today's his birthday. Who is
Michael Jordan. No, it couldn't be Michael Jordan.
Not
He's
Michael
probably even
Jordan.
younger.
Yep.
It's probably someone I'd never heard of.
Oh, you've definitely heard of him.
Yeah?
But it's not your era. It's Josh and my era.
Mike Judge?
Not Mike Judge. You ready?
Yep.
I'll give you, if I give you either his first or his last name, you'll get it right away. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
First name is Mick.
Mick Jagger?
Mick Jagger?
Mick Jagger,
Jagger is
80
81?
81 today. Could you? I mean, think back at that. I remember being a little boy, 13 years old, and going, God, these guys are old. They're like 21 years old.
Yeah.
Well, if you take a look at a picture of Mick Jagger, then take a look at a picture of him now. I don't think there's much difference.
He doesn't look any different. You're absolutely right.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you replace your blood with every chemical you can get your hands on.
Well, there is that. There's no question.
I mean, if you start looking at Mick Jagger's 81,
I know.
the SO just fell down. Just couldn't believe that.
Yep. I know. I
Wow.
understand. The SO, is she okay when she fell over?
Yeah, she's okay. She popped up and she's got she starts looking for Rolling Stones music now.
Play for Mick Jagger's birthday.
Which would be the oldies, right?
No, she goes right to Spotify.
Oh yeah.
SPOT. Stock is up pretty close to an all-time high.
Really?
See, there it is. Yeah. See, there it is. You bring up a topic, Mick Jagger. I immediately go to Spotify and Spotify's stock price and the fact that Spotify, I think Piper Sandler upgraded Spotify and upgraded their price target. More people are signing on as subscribers to Spotify. And then I go in and say, well, here's Spotify, which has a dominant market share in Europe of music, complaining that they're not making enough money off of Apple. And they want to be able to go around Apple's walled garden.
Oh, yeah, because of the App Store cut thing.
Yeah. And it's like, hey, you built your business on the back of Apple's App Store. You built your business on the back of Android, and which is Google's App Store.
Mm-hmm.
And you're complaining that you want more. Hey, your business may not have existed were it not for these app stores. So they're the conduit for you to build a business. They've got the platform. You're going to have to pay some money.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like the full boat. Well, negotiate a better price.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like realtors. No one likes paying tens of thousands of dollars in realtor brokerage fees, but try selling or buying a house without a realtor.
Oh God, yeah.
It's not going to go well.
Not going to happen unless you know the people personally.
The thing about middlemen is that they exist for a reason.
Yeah, they do. Josh, are you and the SO fans of the Minnesota State Fair?
I love the fair.
Okay.
The SO, not so much.
Not so much.
I will tell you that while we're in New York visiting my daughter, son-in-law, and grandson, a lot of dough. That's his name. No, his name is Jay, but I call him a lot of dough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because my My son-in-law's name is Joseph Doe. They didn't want to name their son John Doe. They didn't want to name him Dildo.
Cookie dough.
They didn't want to name him Cookie Dough. So I said, how about a lot of dough? So I'm going to get him a t-shirt that says a lot of dough. But they love the state fair. They're coming. They make it a habit of coming to Minnesota the end of August just to go to the state fair. They scheduled their wedding just so.
Wow.
Honest to God, just so it would take place during the state fair, so that Joe Doe's family is from Jacksonville, Florida. They all came up, and Marissa was really pumping them. You got to go. Part of the reason to have the wedding now is so you can experience the Great Minnesota Get Together, the state fair.
There you go. Minnesota State Fair will prohibit nursing dairy cows at Miracle of Birth over bird flu risk. We got all these bird flus back again, and we got all these other, like 3 or 4 other maladies that are floating around now. What the hell is that all about?
We got maladies, all right.
I don't know, but I did see. Yeah, it was last year in the Miracle of Birth. We did see a calf being born just as we came in.
Well, not this year, apparently. No calves for you.
No calves for me. I try to avoid the chicken barns.
Chickens smell really bad.
I don't.
People who have never been around chickens don't have any idea.
Oh,
yeah,
it's the worst. You talk about crab cakes. Love crab cakes. I won't touch chicken. No chicken. No chicken fingers. No people. Was this? Oh, I think this was in Ohio. We were talking about this last night with my son-in-law. He wanted to switch topics because we were talking a little bit about the election, and Joe Doe brought up, let's switch topics. I think this went to the Ohio. Was it?
Are you talking about the chicken nugget thing?
Yes.
That's Ohio. Yep. Ohio Supreme Court, I believe.
The Ohio Supreme Court and the guy that sued over the boneless chicken wings, that he got a bone from the boneless chicken wings.
Yep. And they ruled against him.
Yeah. They basically said we can't guarantee that every chicken wing on the planet is boneless, or boneless chicken wing on the planet is boneless. So therefore, you can't really. The problem is he tried to sue them, saying that like the fact that they call it boneless means it's guaranteed to be free of any bone fragments.
Right.
You could argue is pretty unreasonable, and the Ohio Supreme Court seems to agree with that. Oh, but it's like, how are you eating your chicken nuggets where you don't notice a bone fragment big enough to lacerate your esophagus before you swallow it? Is he eating?
I was in the bar. It was dark. I didn't see. I was inebriated.
My bone fragment light with me.
Gosh.
But it's just like you chew your food. Jeez.
So this was all over a guy swallowed a bone in a boneless chicken wing.
Yep, a little bone fragment, and it got caught in his throat, and apparently it caused him to go to the hospital. And
I wouldn't care for that.
Well, no, it wouldn't be fun, but it can be solved by chewing your food.
True.
God, there's a grain of sand in something I eat, and I'm like hypersensitive to it. I'm the princess and the pea when it comes to things like that in my food. But then people can swallow bones.
Well, hold on. I eat fish. If you're eating fish, there's going to be bones in fish.
You ever try smoked whitefish without getting a bone in your throat? It's impossible.
Oh gosh,
Can't be done.
Impossible. It is impossible.
All right,
we even see them sticking up.
Yes, you can.
We got about 5 minutes left, so we got to move on to a very important day tomorrow in St. Cloud.
St. Cloud.
Yeah, safety top priority for Saturday's Trump campaign rally in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Trump's going to be in St. Cloud tomorrow.
That's a weird place to pick. Why
No,
not
I don't
Duluth?
know.
If anywhere, I'd say Duluth would make the most sense.
Oh, St. Cloud's like right in the middle of it all now in Minnesota.
Yes.
And Josh, maybe you heard this, Andy. I think you did already, but Minnesota's 50-50 right now. It's not clear which way the state's going to
That's what
go.
I hear, but I don't know if I believe it. We haven't
Yeah.
voted blue or voted red in what? Probably even longer than California, I think.
Longer than California because we did not vote for Ronald Reagan.
Let's see.
The only
Last
state in the
time
United
Minnesota
States.
voted for a Republican president. Might take a while to find this out.
Maybe never.
Here we go. 1972.
72, and that would have been
For Richard Nixon.
I think it was.
Oh, that would've been-
That would have been 72. It was Nixon against McGovern.
Yep.
That was the first time that I voted. I did not like either candidate, and I put a write-in.
Well, people really didn't like McGovern because Nixon won every state except it looks like Massachusetts and DC.
really.
So McGovern lost his own state.
Well, he's from South Dakota, of course.
I just lost it. But I mean, that's a pretty conservative state, South Dakota.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. McGovern's the Democrat, so.
That's true. The McGovern, the Democrat. Yeah,
Mhm.
that would make sense then. Yeah, they're not going to vote for him.
McGovern ran on a platform for ending Vietnam and guaranteed minimum income. That probably wasn't too popular in the 70s.
How did we ever get involved in Vietnam in the first place? I will never understand. I never understood it as a little boy.
Communism.
It's like, what do you mean my oldest brother's going to go to Vietnam? Why are we fighting in Vietnam? And it was to fend off communism.
Yep.
That's what it was all about.
Yep. Communism was, well, everyone was scared of it after what happened with Russia.
Yeah, I
A
suppose.
lot of people died in Russia thanks to it. So everyone was, well, it's like how everyone's about fascism right now. Everyone thinks that fascism is just lurking around the corner and it's going to seize the country.
Yeah.
It was the same way back then with communism. So it's like people all making fun of the Red Scare and stuff. They're all doing the exact same thing today.
Well, they are leaning pretty heavily toward communism now, some of these parties.
Yeah, and the communists, they ate their own and then some.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And
It
they
has never
kept
gone well.
killing.
Yeah, neither fascism nor communism have ever ended well.
No,
I cannot think of any government like that that has done well.
Yeah.
That form, not only form of government, but that form of economy has never ever done well.
Now, the closest would be China, which is nominally communist, but it's also arguably the most capitalist country in the world. So how does that work?
yeah. Good point.
China is basically what America was 100 years ago. It's like, just everything's a factory. There are no worker protections, and they're making insane amounts of money because of it. So if you don't care about that sort of thing, you can make a few dollars in China, but
Well, it's really moved them from one century to another.
yeah, it definitely has.
Yeah, very true. All right.
You want more? Okay. What's going to happen next week? We got, as I said earlier, big earnings week. Going to be big for me with Apple and Amazon reporting Thursday night. DraftKings reports also. Advanced Micro Devices, which will give a little bit more info on semiconductors, reports the middle of the week. And we've got Microsoft and Meta, not to mention, of course, the Federal Reserve to discuss interest rates. And I don't think the Fed is going to be moving on interest rates anytime soon.
Good wrap up there. Look, you got very serious. I like it.
Okay. And well, how about this? Maybe the Twins are going to win some games over the course of the next few weeks, and we might be able to start seeing them on TV.
Yeah, Comcast may pick them up. It won't cost me $100 a month to watch the Twins anymore.
What are the odds of making it to the World Series this year? 0?
No, I tell you that beating Philadelphia 2 out of 3 games was a very big deal. Philadelphia is a really good baseball team.
Let's see if I can name the Philadelphia team. The Philadelphia. It's not the Eagles.
No,
that's football, and
football.
football is also starting this week.
Yep.
You've got this is a huge week for sports.
It is.
You've got you've got I'll say summer. I like to say fall practice, but preseason is starting, and supposedly the Vikings already have one premier player down.
Mm-hmm.
You've got baseball season. You've got the Olympics, which should be huge.
Matter of fact, starts in about 2 hours. Well, an hour and 50 minutes. That's when the Olympics started. What, 12:30 Central Time?
Yep.
Well,
So it's going to be big stuff. A lot happening.
Indeed. All right, boys. We will talk to you. I'll talk to you, of course, early in the week, Josh, on the morning show, and then we'll all be. Are you going to be in studio next Friday?
I will be in studio next Friday.
Perfect.
Sounds good. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.
Bye.
Look forward to it.
Bye.
Bye.
Every time I hear the same, reminds me how you talking.